Hi everyone, myself Sanjay Varun. I will be starting with introduction part of our group project, which is on the topic touch screen. It's a combination of two things, display and a touch sensor. The display is the part that show you the pictures, videos and apps. Most devices today use LCD or LED displays behind the touch screen. They work like a light up puzzles tuning, tiny colored like the called pixels on and off to make image and text. Now on the top of that screen is the touch layer. It's like a magic invisible sheet that can feel your finger. There are different type of touch layers, and today we will talk about two of them: resistive and capacitive touch screens.
Hey, hi, this is Paramvir, and now I'll be continuing with the resistive touchscreen part. So let's begin with the introduction. These screens are made of two very thin, flexible layers. Both layers are coated with a special material that conducts electricity, but they don't touch each other normally. There are tiny dots called spacers that keep them apart. When you press down with a finger, a pen, or even if you are wearing gloves, the top layer bends down and touches the bottom layer at exactly the point you pressed. That's how the screen knows where you are touching. One big advantage of resistive touchscreens is that they don't care what you use to touch them. Finger, stylus, glove, even something like a key or pen tip will work. Because of that, you'll often see resistive screens used in places where precision is important, like at ATMs in hospitals or on industrial machines where workers wear gloves. They're also cheaper to make and they work better in outdoor environments where weather could affect fancier screens. Now, let's understand how the resistive screen works step by step. So, first, when you apply pressure on the surface, you are actually bending the top conductive layer. This top layer touches the bottom layer at the exact point where you press. When the two conductive coatings meet, an electrical circuit is completed at that point. The screen has a smaller computer inside called a controller. The controller senses exactly where the circuit was closed, meaning where you touched. Then it sends that information to the device main processor, which interprets it, like opening an app, selecting an option, or typing a number. So one cool thing about the resistive screens is that they can still work even if the surface is scratched, dirty, or wet because they rely on pressure, not on perfect electrical sensing. That's why you will often see resistive screens in rough outdoor conditions, heavy duty machines, or older GPS devices.
Hello, myself Shivam Agarwal. Now I'm going to continue the presentation by discussing capacitive touch screens. These screens are a bit different from resistive ones. Instead of needing pressure, they use electricity. There is a special glass layer on top with tiny invisible wires inside. These create an electric field across the screen. When your finger touches the glass, it changes the electric field because your body carries a tiny electric charge. Capacitive screens are really good at showing clear and bright images. They are also strong and can detect multiple touches at once. That's why they are used in phones and tablets. And here's how capacitive screens actually work. When you touch a glass, your finger disrupts the electric field at that spot. The screen has a grid underneath, like a map that senses exactly where the fields change. The controller inside quickly reads the signal and figures out your touch location. That's why you can swipe, pinch to zoom, and tap very smoothly on modern devices like smartphones.
Hello, I'm Soumya and I'll be taking over the rest of the presentation. So, resistive and capacitive touchscreens, what is the difference? In terms of how it works, resistive touchscreens work by pressing with pressure, while capacitive touchscreens senses your finger's electricity. In terms of touch tools, resistive touchscreens work with anything, be a finger, pen, or even a wooden stick, while capacitive touchscreens only work with finger or special pens which can conduct material. अरे यार मटेरियल नहीं है, which can conduct electricity. चलो fuck. ठीक है फिर से फाइनल टेक ठीक है. Hello, I'm Soumya and I'll be discussing final take two. Hello, I'm Soumya and I'll be taking over the rest of the presentation. So resistive and capacitive touchscreens, what's the difference? In terms of how it works, resistive touchscreens work by pressing with pressure, while the capacitive touchscreens senses your finger's electricity. In terms of touch tools, resistive touchscreens work with anything, be a finger, pen, or even a wood stick, while capacitive touchscreens only work with finger or special pens. Basically, they require a conductive material. Resistive touchscreens are used in ATMs, etc., while capacitive touchscreens are used in modern day phones, tablets. Resistive touchscreens have a less sharp display clarity, while capacitive touchscreens are very clear and bright. How does touch plus display do the magic? In both types, the touch layer is placed on top of the display. The display lights up the screen and shows your app or game, and the touch layer helps the device know where you are touching. The magic happens when the touch controller sends the touch location to the phone's processor, which then opens the app, types a letter, or plays a game, just like magic. And that's how touchscreens work, pressing with pressure or touching with electricity, all working together with a glowing display underneath. Both technologies shape our world, and each serves in the unique industry. Thanks for touching in.